Hey everyone, welcome back, and I am excited to present our next speaker, and that is Gaurav. And Gaurav with what company called JustCall. I'm sure you've heard, a pretty sizable company. So Gaurav, I appreciate you taking the time to speak today to all the attendees, and we are going to talk about how to save your sales reps a bunch of hours.
Sounds good. Thanks for the intro here, and this is one of my favorite topics: integrations and saving people time and making salespeople do better job. So I think we've been working with HubSpot for almost 4 years now, and it's been a great journey. We have seen and learned a lot from how other salespeople are doing, and over the period of time, we have figured out a lot of things that salespeople can really do to get better at their job, and they can do some of the tricks in HubSpot that can save them a lot of time, which can basically spend more into sales. So let's start this. So I think just to give you a quick sort of background here. So I've been running businesses for almost 10 years now. So JustCall is Helpwise is something that I'm currently running, and we sort of bootstrapped this to about $8 million ARR, and also an active angel investor in other SaaS businesses. Coming to the JustCall, so it's if you are using HubSpot, I mean, you definitely must have seen us in the place, but just to give you a quick background, so JustCall is a cloud-bound system that sort of works for sales and support teams with the native integrations with almost 80 plus other business tools. We normally focus on helping businesses automate their workflows around voice and SMS. There are about thousands of HubSpot users who sort of use JustCall on a daily basis. And overall, I think we are helping almost 3,000 plus businesses across 40 countries through basically JustCall. So let's jump into main topic here is why exactly we need automation. Why salespeople need automation? During our maths, I mean, we figured out that after every phone call, a salesperson loses like 2 to 3 minutes in notes, getting back into the focus. So if you add up all those minutes which are going sort of wasted after every call, it sort of adds up to about 300 hours on an annual basis. Just think about this number. I mean, 300 hours, if the same salesperson can spend on making more sales calls, I think there's no denying fact that that's going to turn into more sales. So our first goal should be like how we can give back these 300 hours to our salespeople so that they can start making more phone calls, more emails, so that they can start making more sales. And how exactly can we do that? That's a pretty straightforward answer to that. I mean, just automate all the manual work that they're doing. You do all the heavy lifting through automation and let salespeople do the sales which they are actually good at. So other reasons why we should be using sales workflow automation, I think it's programmable, right? If it's programmable, it's pretty much fail-proof. Also, it's funny that the computers don't give you excuses, right? So I mean, the funny just to put a point here is that they are pretty much fail-proof. So you can trust an automation with that's going to work. That's going to no matter what. It brings in a strict accountability. So as your sales team is growing, accountability becomes a pretty challenge. So I think if you have an automation in place, that brings in accountability and gives you more sort of transparency across what's really happening in your sales process, what's really happening with your different sales reps. And the best part, which I love the most about automation, is it's scalable. You can scale it from 1 to 10 and 10 to 100, and you're not going to stretch much in terms of when you're hiring more people. If you have workflow automation in place, it's going to automatically scale with it, right? So that's pretty much why we should be using automation. And there's So calls is something we have been working on for almost 4 or 5 years. So this is kind of our strength area. So let's talk about like how exactly our salespeople get productive at calling, basically. And I'll be making sure that it's around HubSpot. There are many other ways to be productive at, with calls, but I think I'll be just focusing around HubSpot, how we can do that around HubSpot itself, right? I think the first and important thing is you can make use of click to call and SMS buttons within your HubSpot account. So what sort of helps is that you don't have to dial the number all the time. So just think about it. Like for making let's say if you're making 100 calls a day, there's one case that you're dialing in every phone number and making calls, and there's another case where you're just clicking on the number and it's automatically get dialed. So I think the second case is where you're gonna start saving like 5 to 10 seconds each for every sort of call that you're making. So that's where, and when you start adding up these 5 to 10 seconds which you're saving, they add up to a sort of a decent number that you can save, and you can do let's say 5 or 10 more calls on a daily basis. The other thing would be, and that's probably where the most of the time goes into after call logging. So once your call is ended, normally you have to go to your CRM, put in the notes like, hey, I had a call with this person. It was a good call. It was a bad call. You can automate that. You can just connect your HubSpot to a tool like JustCall, and you can just automate this process. So now your sales rep can just continue making calls without worrying about that are the calls getting logged or not. So that's a very important automation process that I believe every sales team should have, because this is the most painful and the most boring part of the sales process, I would say, to log every call and SMS that you're making, right? So yeah, I think that's very important. Second, the third thing is disposition codes. So disposition codes are basically the outcomes of the calls that you can really select after a call. And based on those disposition codes, you can trigger different workflows. Just to give you an example here, in this example, you can see that I selected some sort of automation. I selected some sort of disposition code here, and I can create some sort of workflow on top of it. Let's say my call went well, and I sort of added a disposition code like amazing lead or easy sell or something like that, right? On those outcomes, I can create a workflow to send some specific email, some specific PDF, some specific SMS to that person, just based on this disposition code itself. So again, in one case, your salesperson will have to do all these manually. The other case is you connect your workflows with your disposition codes, and you can just automate that and let automation take care of it, and let your salesperson keep on doing the human work, which is making calls, talking to people, explaining them the product. Let other thing, all the heavy lifting happening in the background through a product like JustCall, any other cloud phone system that sort of integrates with HubSpot, right? Another thing is you should have contact level analytics in your HubSpot, any CRM that you're using. When I say contact level analytics, it means that you should have idea about how many calls you've done with this specific contact, what sort of amount you have spent in terms of talk time with these sort of contact. So based on even these numbers, you can also create workflows and automation around these things. Just to give an example, if I have made, let's say, there's a workflow I'm creating. If I've made 10 calls to this contact, I will send something. Or if my talk time has passed 1 hour with this contact, I will send something. So you can create some sort of automations around these kind of things. So meanwhile, let me check if there's any questions here. Okay, feel free to ping me if you have any questions during the session. Okay, so. So these are some of the automation that you can really do around HubSpot. But again, over a period of time, we have built so many things on HubSpot that even we figured out some of the things that we thought that people must be knowing about it, but we figured out that these are some of the hidden gems in HubSpot that I believe every sales team, every salesperson should be knowing about. So my personal favorite is the recent one. It's a conversational AI that HubSpot recently launched. So now in HubSpot, you can basically automatically transcribe your logged calls, and you can do a easy search of keywords within your calls. So let's say my salesperson made a call, and you want to search like how many times the competitor was talked about, or you want to go to a place where the prospective customer asks for pricing, right? So you can do a lot of coaching related or any other sort of search within your call. So this is a pretty much hidden sort of feature of HubSpot, which we have said not many people are currently using. And the good part of this feature is that it does not only works with the HubSpot calls itself, but it also works with a few of the third-party phone systems like ours, like JustCall and Zoom. So we were actually one of the launch partners for this feature, and And we see a great use case for salespeople, particularly for this feature itself. And this is something you must try if you're using HubSpot. The other thing we have seen is, and it's a very sort of highly recommended feature, I would say, that many businesses are not even using today, is the SMS. You can basically add SMS as a channel in your workflows in HubSpot. And the benefit of SMS is the high open rate or the high read of the SMS on top of your emails or other sort of channels. So we have seen a lot of businesses getting a lot of success on SMS as a channel. So this is something you should be exploring. So while creating workflows, if you integrate a product like ours, like JustCall or any other cloud phone system that sort of supports SMS, you can easily create SMS triggers within your workflows. And there's so many use cases for these SMS workflows. Basically, you can use it during prospecting, you can do it during pre-sales, during closing, even customer marketing, or just reaching back to an old customer and just trying to reinitiate a chat with that person. And all these triggers can actually happen based on different contact properties. So if you remember, just few slides back, I talked about account contact level analytics. You can also connect these SMS workflows with those contact level analytics as well. Let's say whenever I complete my 10th call with a contact, trigger an SMS like XYZ, right? So this is also kind of automation that you can bring in your whole workflow, basically. This task queues is again one of the most highly effective and productive features in HubSpot that many businesses are still not using. So basically, it can just automate your whole sales process in a way. You can move through different HubSpot contacts one by one. You can do a pause and play as per your convenience. And the good part is that if you have a cadence ready in your HubSpot, let's say for this contact, I have to make 2 calls, then I have to make an email, then I have to make a 3rd call. HubSpot will take care of the action itself. So let's say if it's the turn to make a call, it will pop up a dialer for you. If it's a turn to send an SMS, it will automatically pop up an email editor for you. So again, a lot of time is sort of saved here for your salespeople, and also it sort of keep them accountable that these are the XYZ activities that they really want to do today. So it makes sure that they do all the activities which are sort of in the queue right now. So task queues is something, if you have not used it yet, I mean, I think you should explore this. It comes under the sales part of the HubSpot, and you should try this thing. So these are some of the 3 must try hidden gems of HubSpot that we have seen in last few years that many of the businesses are not making use of. So I believe this will be helpful for you. So these are some of the things I really wanted to share today with all of you. Happy to answer if you have any questions. By the way, JustCall can help you with your both sales and support teams with all the mentioned automations that I just talked about. Feel free to book a free demo with us. Happy to help you out. And I was told that I can obviously give some sort of offer to our folks who are joining it. So here is what a small gift from our end. We are offering you a 10% forever discount on JustCall. If you want to try out JustCall, feel free to come. Happy to help with any automation queries, not just HubSpot, maybe any other CRM that you're using. Happy to help. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Awesome, Gaurav. If you want, you can just stop sharing your screen so that people can see your face and not just a huge screen there. Awesome. Alrighty, I am gonna make it like this so the camera. There you go. So I would really want to know your takeaways, guys. So if you have any takeaways, post them here. The one thing or a couple of things that you absolutely want to check it out. It looks like I was really excited about the call transcription, but then Ramesh is saying that it's only available on the enterprise version. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, transcription is an inexpensive thing to solve. I mean, you are running some big computers on the background, to transcribe each and every running call. So it costs HubSpot some money. So obviously, I think they'll be giving it in the enterprise. But it's a very good feature. And If not HubSpot, I mean, obviously you can use any third party for transcriptions. So there is a way, but it's just that are you going to use transcriptions or not? It's very important.
Yep. Next, SMS workflows, definitely something for everyone to check out. Now, it looks like overall, the few things that you've mentioned are basically helping not just the people themselves, but it's just saving time and maybe even additional layer, like management layer is, maybe even not needed, at least in the early stage companies, right? Where you're basically taking care of all of that and with these integrations.
Absolutely. I mean, let's say coaching of the new reps, you don't need a full-time person to start with. You can use the data that HubSpot Analytics is giving you along with the integration so that you can coach your folks, or you can coach yourself, or you can figure out where you're going wrong. By the way, I can see a question here in the chats. How is your product different from CallRail and or AirCall? If you want, I can answer that quickly. So CallRail basically is an inbound call tracker used mostly for marketing purposes. Coming to AirCall, a great product. Our big competitor for sure. If you want to compare with JustCall with AirCall, so in AirCall you don't get anything around SMS. JustCall is a complete suite of SMS, from SMS inbox to SMS automation to SMS scam to SMS bot. So that's where we really differentiate from AirCall. And I think that the very important thing that I normally talk about is the customer support that you get at JustCall. We believe that customer support at JustCall is something like a feature of JustCall. It never goes down.
Plus, I don't think that CallRail has a good integration with HubSpot, right? And today, this is what we're talking about. And you guys have very nice and deep integration.
Also, it also depends on the relationship. So not giving you much of the details, but I'm working on a couple of new things along with HubSpot. So we are very good. We have great relationship with the HubSpot engineering team as well. So we keep on trying different ideas with the same team there at HubSpot. Even the conversational AI is something that we have been working on for almost 4-5 months, I would say. And then we sort of built together and sort of launched it. So there are a few more interesting things which are in the pipeline coming soon.
Very good. Well, exciting to hear from you. We have 10 more minutes left. Let's talk a little bit more. So all the things you shared in your presentation seems like were more applicable more to salespeople. Anything that you can share that's going to be helpful for support?
Sure, absolutely. I think the same goes for the support as well. The logging of the calls under the contact. That's very important. Like you should be having the so whenever a new support chat or call comes in, you should always have the context ready. Like what all things have been talked about previously. So if you're using JustCall and HubSpot together, for every contact, you'll have a complete history of all the calls happen. And the good part is that you also have all the recordings there itself. So you can quickly listen to a recording. You can quickly look at the notes for that, and it sort of works well for you. So that's a very good sort of use case for customer support. Also, JustCall sort of integrates directly with the HubSpot analytics as well. So you are able to generate a lot of reports around phone calls, support levels within your HubSpot through this integration. So it's a very good fit for customer support as well.
Christian is saying that has been a huge pain point for us. I'm excited to look into JustCall. Now you have even an incentive to do that. You have a discount.
Yep.
Ramesh is asking, is there an easy way to click to SMS using Google Message app?
Click to SMS using Google Message app. Not sure if I'm getting the answer question here. You can definitely do it with JustCall app, but not sure about the Google Message app.
Within HubSpot, yes, that is possible.
Yes.
Awesome. If you were to pick, what is the one key takeaway from your presentation if you were to pick just
like takeaway for me?
Sorry, a little bit of backstory. So every session, I ask everyone, both speakers and the attendees, to share what is the one key takeaway that they would use from this session, because we wanted to make as actionable as possible. And yes, your session was great. One key takeaway that you would recommend all the attendees to kind of write down and consider implementing in the next couple of weeks?
No, absolutely. I think the key takeaway here is to start logging. That's very important, and automate the logging part. Your salespeople and support reps hate logging calls manually. So please automate that, make their lives easier. they'll be more happier, they'll perform better. So I think at least start automating the call logging part of it, and then we can move ahead from there. We can do all the automation, whatnot, going forward. But I think the first step is to start logging automatically, save them some 300 hours a year.
Awesome. Well, Gaurav, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I look forward to connecting again really soon with you. All the attendees, we do have about a few more minutes before the next session, so feel free to grab a quick bite or a cup of tea or coffee, and I'll see you back really soon. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.